Treehouse of Horror. Wait a minute, Simpsons did it. Welcome to King's Roundtable, everybody. Today we have costume controversy. What is an acceptable Halloween costume? What is not? We have AJ.
What's going on?
Joey. And myself, Jer. Well, let's start. What is not an acceptable Halloween costume, and give a valid reason?
Sexy White Claw. Because why do you need to dress like a sexy beer? Hey, you make it, I ain't paying for it.
I'm pretty sure we just broke Joey.
God damn it,
That
Joey.
didn't take long.
So, come on.
You go. My brain is still rebooting. I have the blue screen of death behind my eyes right now.
Alright, so there's a lot of things we have to say on this topic. One of the things that I'd like to say is, if your 6-year-old son wants to dress up as a Native American and go out as a Native American, let him. In my personal opinion. I don't see anything wrong with it. People say it's cultural appropriation, blah, 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 blah. And it's not politically correct. And, you know, a Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, as Jared would like to say, is, the political correct way to go about it. Why aren't we allowed to dress differently? Why is it non-correct?
Well, it's a lot of it comes down to and to a point. I think for the most part, people don't bridge into it the way that we're told that they do. But it comes down to respect and knowledge of the culture that your costume is coming from. Like, if you, not so much if you're a kid, because kids don't have a concept of that yet. But like, if for example I were to dress as a Native American, if I'm doing it in a way that is disrespectful to Native American culture, or if I'm doing it without the knowledge of, the history of what I'm wearing or where it comes from, then that could be seen as not politically correct.
I think if you do it on any day but Halloween,
well,
with that
too.
aspect,
That too.
then sure. But I mean, on Halloween, if I want to dress up as the Native American that's in that kid's movie, the keyhole or whatever, he's got the little, he opens it, puts the little Native American in, closes it, and then all of a sudden the Native American comes to life.
The Little Indian?
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot that movie existed.
If I want to dress up, why can't I? Why? What about that is wrong?
Well, I guess in that sense, it's a mythical character, so it's not quite as wrong, in my opinion.
The problem is we've got a generation that's grown up that has never had to actually deal with a lot of stuff, has become a bunch of snowflakes that love to just get attention no matter what it is, and they're screaming for stuff and screaming at stuff and imposing views upon others and upon children that they have no right to impose.
I mean, the main PC argument comes from children. That, like, I mean, that's where I look at it. I don't see too many adults doing, like, dressing up as Native American. Like, I do, I guess.
I was gonna say, have
Sexy
you ever been
Indian?
Have you ever been to a college party? You see at least 2 or 3.
I mean, I was never to a college party sober, so I don't remember.
Well,
but
there you go.
I mean, why has this become such an issue? Is it because most of the world has gone to the, look at me, I'm screaming for appropriation, look at me, I need attention?
I think it's a preemptive way of trying to avoid the issue of racism or disrespect, like when your children don't have a concept of it yet. But because they're doing it preemptively, I think it's an overcorrection.
Now, where do you draw the line being the next question? So, are you saying at this point in time, Native Americans have to dress as a Native American because if they want to go out as a miner or a cowboy, those are predominantly Caucasian.
I mean,
Are they not allowed to do, like, how many different things are based out of another group? And these people, the problem is, let's look at who they're yelling at for appropriation. They're not yelling at the Native Americans. They're not yelling at the African Americans or African Canadians. They're not yelling at the people coming over from the Middle East or from India or any other country. They're screaming at the Caucasians, and they are targeting them.
so we have become like some rappers have put out there, the straight white male complex. You it's so easy to hate us because there's in the past ancestors, not our ancestors, but straight white males have done so much wrong.
Yes.
So for the first thing I want to talk about is racism. And I want to bring up this point, and in my opinion, now this is my opinion, racism has to be derived from hate. Putting on blackface, I know everyone sees it as bad, but in my opinion, personally, if there's no hate behind wanting to dress up as Bill Cosby, now you don't paint your face black because of all the stereotypical things that occurs, but you do a hell of a Bill Cosby impression.
Yeah.
Should you not be able to do that because you're white? Like,
Well,
where-
I mean, I don't want to dress up as Bill Cosby for Halloween for other reasons.
well,
But
I mean, but appropriation and stuff like that be damned. Racism has to stem from hate. I don't hate a race. I don't hate a gender. I don't hate sexual orientation of any kind. I'm not a hateful person. Sure, I dislike certain aspects of life.
But it comes down to, and I think the three of us can agree because we have sort of a similar outlook on this. It comes down to the individual. There are individuals that I don't like.
Of course. That's what it is. That being said, if the costume was derived from hate, dressing your kid up as Hitler, there's an issue with that.
Yeah, there's a very big issue with that.
I mean,
And see, that's where certain things, the problem, again, that I'm going to point out here is dressing up as Gestapo, dressing up as Hitler, dressing up as Stalin, Che Guevara. You're talking about things that nationally and globally have been denounced.
Yes.
Now, your little girl dressing up as Pocahontas is being screamed at, even though you're talking about a Disney movie character, and they're crying out, well, it's cultural appropriation. Well, no, in all honesty, the character was created by Disney, therefore, if anything, you should be saying it's trademarked, not cultural appropriation.
so what about changing... So I'm going to interject this real quick. What about changing Pocahontas for Sacagawea? Does it change when it changes from a fictional character to a real-life character?
It all depends on how you handle it. Like, personally, I will put this out there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm an atheist, and I am very, very open-minded. In my personal opinion, things such as a religious-based costume shouldn't be used. The basis being, humanity as a whole has repeatedly fought and killed each other over this stupid concept of religion over and over and over and over again. Religion itself is not something that you should take lightly in any way, shape, or form. If, for example, though, you wanted to do something that was based on a culture, you have Native American here in Canada. Could you imagine dressing up in the full armor and a plastic sword as a samurai?
That'd be hot as hell.
Well, obviously you're not wearing real
Well, I
armor.
mean, in October, though, around here, it's not going to be that bad. But yeah, I
But
agree with you. Like,
there's
yeah.
going to be people who say, well, it's cultural appropriation. if you do it properly and you're not doing something that's like, oh, well, I'm running around your current issue, running around wearing brown bikini top and brown bikini bottoms, a couple feathers in your hair, and a little bit of face paint saying, I'm a sexy Indian. That, yes, as far as I'm concerned, that's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that.
No.
You're literally just going out to show yourself off and claiming another culture so that you can
So,
have
But the really
Stop.
frightening thing is that, you know, delving into the quote-unquote sexy costumes, is it just me, or are they making those for younger and younger and younger girls?
Oh, yes.
I mean,
You can find them already, like,
We
down
have-
to age 15 and everything.
we have a problem in
lower.
our world right now where the media is drilling into our brains that every guy is a potential predator. Like, the media is telling us, before social media and before the internet, there were these people out there.
Yes.
But now we hear about them all the time. So why are we sexualizing kids' costumes? And I mean, it's not an opinion. It's not my opinion. It's not your opinion. It's not your opinion. It's facts.
Yeah.
The costumes are becoming more sexualized.
They are definitely, and it's starting at a younger and younger age. And there is, and this is gonna sound very weird, and it's gonna sound crazy, because children are maturing quicker than they did when we were kids. Not mentally, not in terms of their mental faculties, but kids are going through puberty at younger and younger ages than they were when we were kids. And I think based on that, especially, you know, for girls who are under pressure to look beautiful and, you know, present in a way that is in a way that's going to make them appeal to boys of their own
So
age.
the media's corrupting our young.
They always have.
They have been.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible. I think. So I recently had a daughter, and stereotypical father. My daughter's not dating until she's 30. She's never gonna wear a two-piece bathing suit. Blah 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 all the way down the line. I look at kind of the media that's put out there now, and I see a drastic change between the ages of 10 to 14.
Yes.
There's such a drastic jump because I have a niece who's younger than 10, and she's into LOL dolls, which are huge right now.
Okay.
Just little dolls. They come in mystery balls. It's whatever. And she's really big into Kids Ball.
Yeah.
That group that goes around, they tour, and they redo songs, but they're
It's kid friendly versions of pop songs.
And you know, that's cool. And I'm like, oh, you know, I'll do that with my daughter. I'll go to that. And then you hit that like 13, 14, and it's all like sexualized media. You're supposed to look good for guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's not just girls, okay? We're three guys talking about this. It's not just girls. Guys are also pressured to look good for girls. And stereotypically, costumes, if you look at costumes, this is the insane thing. When you look at costumes for teenage boys, what are the most common costumes you guys think you would find?
Superheroes.
Yeah, for the most part.
So, what's something that all superheroes kind of have in common?
They're all big, they're all burly, and they're good-looking guys.
So, a lot of the costumes now that you see for, like, let's generalize 15-year-old demographic are all fake muscle. They all have paddings in there for fake muscles. It's superheroes, it's soldiers, it's knights, it's chivalry, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this. When I was a kid, man, one of the costumes we wore was we went out as a wizard. And, you know, well, I'm a geek. But those costumes are pushed. Like, there is this much devoted to geeks and scary, and then there's this much devoted to chivalry and being a man and
I wouldn't put chivalry in that topic.
okay, that's probably
But-
the wrong word, but
The whole concept of, yeah, you need to be the big, jacked guy who's going to be out there being the star, being the quarterback, being the superhero, being the whatever.
Slay the dragon, win the trophy, take the princess.
Yeah. Is definitely, like, we're portraying the mindsets of nobody loses. Everyone's got to be the hero if you're a guy, or you've got to be the superstar model actress if you're the girl. And is the media corrupting the youth? Well, I can't say we can blame the media for everything here. And as much as I'd love to, part of the problem is parenting itself has begun to decline. There are a large number of people who are television parents.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the TV, sit down, watch it, and they go off. The interaction's missing anymore. A lot of...
I can't agree with you more. And being a parent, I'm not. No one's perfect. My son probably gets too much TV, and you can tell if he's taken away from TV for a while. You know, he started to listen better. Now, mind you, we've changed our lifestyle around and we play Pokemon Go. So we do a lot of like family walks and we'll go out and we'll walk for 2 hours. And yeah, okay, we're looking at phones or we're looking at the tablet and stuff.
But you're still engaging with
we're
each other.
engaging with each other. We're right there. We're walking. We're talking. We're having those human interactions. And, I'm sitting there trying to explain to him why certain things are good, why certain things are bad, why we behave the way we do, why we should behave better or take certain liberties on things. And it's great. And I think a lot of parents will benefit from, have you ever tried putting the TV remote down and beating your kids? I'm just kidding. Don't ever hit your kids. It's not a good thing. But like, turn the TV off. This is my biggest thing. Okay, so before we started walking, what we were doing with Emmett and how we were getting interactions is we went to the dollar store. So at the dollar store, I spent $6. I picked up 1 deck of cards. I picked up 4 board games, and for 2 hours every day, TV went off. Computers were off, phones were on silent, pushed off. You couldn't find them, didn't matter. We sat at the kitchen table and we played a board game. We played with cards. And you don't get that anymore. And I mean, we kind of went off the topic of costumes.
It all rolls into the same
yeah.
thing because at least my takeaway for this is, I mean, because parents are more and more hands-off with their kids and they're letting the television raise their kids grow up with these incredibly unrealistic standards, and because the parents aren't there to sort of clear the fog and explain things to them on a human level, then they feel that they have to measure up to these standards that absolutely nobody can live up to.
So, what we want you guys to take away from this, as the King's Roundtable, we're here to do some good. Every once in a while, you're going to get a real life interaction. And here it is. Cultural appropriation, if you feel that that's what it is, keep it to yourself, please. On most subjects, there are issues of cultural appropriation when it comes to religion.
Well, I wouldn't quite phrase it that way.
Okay.
So in a quick recap takeaway from our discussion, at least in my eyes, cultural appropriation has become an overused term. Rather than being what it is, where you're literally taking from another culture and making it yours, rather than you learning of another culture and understanding it is another culture and accepting it that way. We're screaming a word without properly understanding what it means. we're letting media raise children and putting out concepts that shouldn't be in existence because we aren't taking the time to spend time with them, to do things with them. Read, write, listen to music, let's dance, play music, go for a walk, play the board games.
We are over sexualizing our children by not having an input per se, not caring
Input or
enough.
interaction.
I mean, if a mother sees a child in a sexy costume and she lets that child go out, or a father, I'm not saying a woman, like, if a mother or father sees a child in a sexy costume and then they proceed to let that child go out, a lot of that blame has to be placed on the parents as well.
But that's not the way society works anymore.
No.
And
Now,
I understand, and we're here to literally tell you society is not working right now. It's not working. We're not working as a people. We're too worried about being PC. We're too worried about hurting people's feelings. We're too worried about not stepping on people's toes that we're ruining ourselves as it comes. Halloween is one night a year. You dress up for what? 3 hours. Okay? Dress up as something that makes you feel good and happy doing.
Yes.
But keep it modest and keep it appropriate.
Let kids be
Hey.
kids.
And let kids be kids.
You want to talk PC? To end this up, who here has ever seen someone decked out in cereal boxes with little plastic knives in it running around as a serial killer?
I mean, grade 6.
And how much fun was that?
Oh,
Grade-
it was wicked fun,
Grade
but
6, there was always that, grade school, there was always that kid that had that idea. I mean, I remember being a kid. Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid in all the different costumes, and I remember being an adult seeing all the adulterated costumes. And, I've seen some crazy stuff, and, I mean, let's let our kids be kids. It's Halloween. It's one day a year. You dress up for 3 hours. Let them go out. The next thing I'm going to say is stop being a damn Scrooge and turn your front light on and offer candy. It's one day a year. You want to know what Halloween's for? So, Halloween's for all those kids that are dressed up, they scare off the evil spirits away from your house so your house is protected. Offer them candy. They're doing you a favor. Offer them a favor.
hey, I mean, worst case scenario, turn the light off around 8 o'clock. Most of the little ones are in by then.
Well, even then, like 8, 9 o'clock, like we take Emmett out till 9. And I mean, but we've come, like, if you walk down the streets of pretty much every town we go to, because we go to a lot of different towns for family and stuff, you'll always see a lot of houses. They don't even hand out candy on Halloween anymore.
Yeah.
It's sickening.
But I'm never home
But
for
you're
Halloween.
not home.
Well-
There's a difference. There's these people that... There was people that were sitting on their front porch watching all the kids walk by, and they're not offering candy. What are you doing? Why don't you have a bowl? Offer kids apples. I don't... Like, an onion. I don't care. Start giving them plates and forks or something. Like, stop being a Scrooge. So, with that being said, guys, I think we
Step
should
down
wrap.
off of your soapbox.
He's
here.
totally gone psychotic at this point.
He's AJ. Live long, rock on. I'm Joey.
And we're all back to that Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. I'm Jer.
Guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, or I'm going to come to your house, knock on your door,
And
trick or
demand
treat.
candy.
And trust me, if you don't give me a treat, you're getting a treat.